Sat on my cape.
Awkward. If you don't know who we are, why are you watching this?
That was a great question.
Yeah.
We are the Brisket Broads.
Ow.
We're
the Brisket
Broads. We're big-time Chargers fans. This past season, we went to all the games except for 2.
You're probably wondering, what is this great location? We're at my parents' condo in Tahoe, and we've been enjoying the snow. Oh, now you can tell it's snowing. Look at the snow. And we built ourselves a snowman.
Look at him.
He's so handsome. What? Who is that?
Magic.
Who is it?
Justin Herbert. You guys heard of him?
So, as Mary said before, we went to all of the Chargers games except for 2. So we thought we would just do a little recap video of this whole season, what we learned from going to 15 football games. How many football games? We went to the preseason
15.
games.
Plus 2. We actually went to 17 games.
17 football games.
So there were a lot of highlights, a lot of lowlights.
Yeah, a lot of things we learned. So we thought, let's share this with you guys, / let's make a video that we can watch later and remember for ourselves.
Probably the biggest one is all the cool people we met.
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah,
That's not what you said.
but I was jealous that you wrote it down, so I thought I would say it.
That's not even what her favorite thing is. She's a liar.
Honestly, my favorite moment was when we high-fived Justin Herbert and we touched his hand.
That was pretty great.
Yeah. We also won that game, which is why he was high-fiving everyone.
Yeah. It's better to win games because then you have a higher chance of high-fiving Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
That's the real reason we want the Chargers to win.
We just want as many high-fives as we can get. And hopefully he elevates it and then he starts hugging people. Just hug everyone in the first row of the stadium.
Because we know from going to 17 football games that Justin Herbert likes to hug people.
Yeah. He's a hugger. What were your favorite moments, Heather?
I think one of the best things about this whole Brisket Broad Chargers fandom has been the people that we've met along the way.
Yeah, we met some pretty cool people.
Yeah. Let's look at some of them. You guys.
I love you.
So it's great because this was our first year doing anything like this.
Yeah. First off, getting season tickets.
Yeah, it was our first year with season tickets. First year being groupies that follow a football team around to every game they play. So there were a lot of people, like, we didn't know about the inner workings of the Charger fan base. We didn't know about all these great people. Now we're more, fans of Chargers fans than even of the team.
We're fans of the Chargers and we're fans of the Chargers.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this next year because then it's not just looking forward to seeing the Chargers play, but getting to hang out with our friends again.
Yeah. Going to games with our parents and other family members was pretty fun. Because we love the Chargers so much, and we just want the people we love to also love the Chargers. And it turns out it's not really hard to make that happen.
No, you just have to show them videos of the Chargers and tell them facts about the Chargers, and then they just can't help but also fall in love with them.
Yeah.
My dad has been a 49ers fan, my whole life, probably pretty much all of his life until now.
He wore Chargers gear to a 49ers game.
Yeah.
In Santa Clara.
Yeah. And my mom, so my grandma, her mom, diehard 49ers fan. So my mom was like, you know, in memory of her mom, I'm rooting for the 49ers, but she was like quiet that whole game. And the next morning she was like, you probably noticed I wasn't really cheering. She's like, that's because in my heart I was rooting for the Chargers. I'm like, yeah, Mom. When you kept talking like, I'm going to root for the 49ers, I'm like, you're a liar. You love the Chargers just like we love the Chargers.
Yes.
We pretty much sat in a different place every game. I mean, besides the home games, we typically sat in our seats.
Yeah, but we sat in a lot of different places around the stadium, so we got an idea of where we like to sit.
Yeah.
Probably the best place to sit is right behind the bench, because then you really feel like you're on the team.
Yeah.
You can hear them.
Yeah.
They can hear you.
It definitely is the best place to sit, which makes sense why it's also the most expensive. But we managed at an away game. I think it was the Cardinals game.
Yeah, it was the Cardinals.
The seats were not very expensive, actually, because not as many people, I guess, want to go to see the Cardinals. So we were able to sit behind the bench for that game, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's where we would always sit. Financially, not really feasible.
It's also really fun to sit in the end zone because for at least half of the scores, you're like right there. So it's really fun to see. It's sad when it's the other team scoring, but when it's your team scoring, it's so great. We had Austin Eckler point to us.
Gerald Everett at the Texan game that we went to, he did jump into the stands and give a fan a ball, and we're like, oh, there must have been some other Chargers fans, because we were in that end zone, but we were a little bit too far to the right. But when we rewatched the game, we saw he just jumped into a group of Texan fans and threw the ball to them, and we saw like there were guys like flipping him off. So we're like, what the heck, Gerald? Like,
Come on, you should have jumped into our arms.
Our open arms. Whatever.
But really, anytime you watch the Chargers play, it's not a bad seat. All right, but moving on to things that we learned.
Yes. We realized how exhausting it is to have to go to a football game every weekend and travel. So it's something that's mind-blowing to me that these athletes do it, because like we were exhausted and we were just spectators.
Yeah, we were just watching and screaming.
Yeah. The day after the games, we're like, I don't want to do anything. The first half of the season, we would get terrible headaches. Like by halftime, our heads would hurt so bad, but then we're like, we just have to scream through it. Like you still have to cheer for the defense. You have to get loud. But then one of the last games of the season was January
1st.
And Kaya came with us, and then she was like, man, I have such a bad headache. And then we realized we didn't get headaches anymore. Like our brains were strong enough. We could scream.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Oh, we'll probably have to restart that whole process this next season.
I don't know if it carries over. You know, we haven't been practicing.
Yeah, we should probably go into closets and just scream at the top of our lungs.
For a few hours.
Yeah. It really felt like going to all these football games was a full-time job. Mary was working.
I was also working in between.
Yeah.
So it was like having 2 full-time jobs.
And I was like the Brisket Broad manager. So I was like making posters for the next games, which that felt like a full-time job. So you got to think of something clever and then get over to FedEx to print things and lots of glue. So that was just us, and like these players are supposed to be recovering from injuries and healing and preparing for a whole other game plan for another team, and then traveling. We're like, oh my gosh.
They have to watch film the next day, and there's games where I still cannot bring myself to go back and watch them.
Yeah, so they have to like get over their losses really fast to prepare for another team. Like it definitely increased my appreciation for what these players have to go through, just from being a fan, having to go through a small part of it.
We probably don't really care about going to the Super Bowl, unless the Chargers are in it, and then we care very much. But otherwise, it's just a game at another stadium.
That costs thousands of dollars.
And it probably doesn't even have good food.
Yeah. So I don't know if that makes us sound really entitled. This past Super Bowl, we're like, we've been to the Cardinals Stadium. It's like, whatever, who cares?
It's like, whatever, who cares? Don't buy the cheesecake.
I thought it was pretty good.
It's frozen. We also learned a lot about different players going to all these games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're all unique little fingerprints. Like, we think Austin Eckler is probably an introvert, which is cool that he, like, gives so much of himself. Like, he's always doing giveaways, and, like, he's got that Eck experience where he full-on talks to fans. But seeing him kind of
in the wild.
In the wild. Yeah.
It feels like he's kind of like, oh gosh, like, don't make me come talk to you.
I'm so drained.
I've been talking to so many people.
Yeah. I just need some alone time.
Which is something we want to have a video probably talking more about that of, because sometimes as fans we put expectations on these players, right? Like we're like, we want them to come talk to us. We want them to come sign things. Obviously we want that. And I'm not saying don't want that. We want that.
We want that.
But at least cut the players some slack a little bit, because they are people, and you don't know like what they're going through at the time or what they've already been doing, that they're drained emotionally, socially, whatever, that maybe they're not super excited to like go and talk to more strangers. Because also, I mean, come on, if you're a fan and you've ever actually talked to a football player, you know that you don't do a good job. You know that
it's so hard.
You are weird. So just remember that it's not always fun for them to have these awkward conversations with fans. Because we're weird.
We're so weird. We're too excited.
We don't know what decibel is the right level to be talking. It's either way too quiet or way too loud.
Whatever it is, we're definitely overthinking it.
Yeah.
We also learned that Josh Kelly's like super nice.
He's crazy level nice.
Yeah. I mean, you already get that vibe from him, but yeah, seeing him in the wild, like, man, he's so nice.
Most all of them are super nice. Like some of them that you think, oh, I'm scared of them. I don't even know what I would say to them. Like Corey Lindsey, I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm scared of Corey Lindsey. But we had a couple times where we got to interact with Corey Lindsey, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Corey Lindsey's so nice and cool.
Yeah.
He's our friend.
There were also a lot of fun little stories that didn't make it into our Charger Chat segment.
There were some things that happened that we were like, I don't know if we should talk about this. So even still, we told my mom about that we were going to tell some of these stories, and I think she still doesn't want us to talk about
She's very excited. So the first story is we call Cocaine Girl. We were at the Raiders game.
I thought we weren't going to give any specifics.
Okay. We were at a game. It was after the game. We were talking to this nice girl.
She was, really animated, but we never met her before, so we wouldn't know what she's like normally.
Yeah, we had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, but she was like, I'm sorry if I'm talking so much. Like, I just did cocaine in the bathroom.
What?
With this story, I was going to say one of the positives, the things that we really love about football is the fact that it brings people together from all different walks of life. So I guess this is a little bit of a picture into that, where you're like, oh, wow, you live a very different life from me. So yeah, so this girl just nonchalantly said she did a cocaine. Obviously, we didn't want to mention this in the Charger Chat episode because we don't want to normalize doing cocaine, but we feel like the story is also pretty funny.
It's a pretty good story.
So we're still sharing it. So we talked to her for a while, showed her the Chargers autograph book that we have, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, and you guys go to all these games, it's so awesome. And then I was like, yeah, you could follow us on Instagram, like if you want to, see all of our adventures and stuff. And she's like, oh, I don't have an Instagram. She's like, Instagram is actually really bad for you. Like, you just like look at these other people's lives, and like people only show their highlights of their life, so then you just get jealous and it makes you feel really discontent with your life. And I'm looking at her thinking, girl, Instagram isn't bad for you. Doing cocaine is bad for you.
Cocaine is so bad for you. Don't do cocaine.
I hope you guys don't feel judged if you're out there wanting to do cocaine.
Yeah, we just care about you, and it's not good for you.
Yeah. Don't do drugs. And if you feel like you shouldn't be on social media, don't be on social media either. I mean, we barely go on Twitter. 'Cause it's a dark place.
It is. It makes me want to do drugs. It doesn't, but.
Another story that didn't make it into our Charger Chat segment.
It's a bit of a longer story.
Sometimes people's experiences are different. Girls dressed up in fun outfits might get treated differently than just like a normal Chargers fan, particularly like a guy Charger fan at an opposing fan base. His experience might be different from what ours tends to be.
Yeah.
For the last regular season game, we played the Broncos at Mile High Stadium.
We had seats in the second row. The people in the first row we kind of made friends with, at least the girl. She was wearing a Teen Wolf jacket, but it was the Chargers colors. Her boyfriend was a Broncos fan.
I think she was more just there to be with her boyfriend. She was having a jolly old time. She was like, I think I'm a Chargers fan like you girls because I'm wearing blue and gold. And her boyfriend was kind of like, oh, wait, whatever, you know. But he was hardcore decked out in Broncos stuff. Big time Broncos fan. The two seats in the front row in front of us were open for pretty much all of the first quarter.
And then the girl was like, you girls should come down and sit by us.
Yeah, she's like, it's cool, man. These people haven't come.
Yeah,
So just
come
sit
in.
there. Her boyfriend was like, yeah, it's fine. So we're like, okay.
And we're right next to the security guard, too.
Yeah. So he saw it all happen, and he's like, it's fine. And then into the second quarter, some other people came and sat in our seats behind us, and we're like, oh, these are some other people that just saw that we moved seats, so like they sat closer. And then I don't know who they were talking to, but they're like, oh no, like these seats are actually ours, like pointing to ours. And we turn around, and we're like, oh, like these are your seats for you.
Two grown men in Broncos gear, Broncos fans.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in their seats.
The guy was like, no, it's fine. Just buy us a beer and you guys can sit there or whatever. So then we're like, okay, we'll sit there.
Okay.
So we sat the whole game the
whole game. We had a sign and everything. We were cheering for our team.
Later into the fourth quarter,
this guy came down and then he was like, can I sit by you guys? Because there was an open seat next to us that no one had sat in the whole entire game. And we were like, sure, it's fine. We're all friends here. They don't care. He sat next to us, and that lasted about 30 seconds.
I feel like it was a little longer. Like, it was enough for, like, a play to happen for the Chargers and for him to be like, yay, and then the Broncos fans were not having it. It escalated quickly. It went from everything was cool to everything was very not cool. Yeah. So the Broncos fans behind us, the guy...
The boyfriend of Teen Wolf...
was like yelling to the security guard, like, this guy, it's not his seat, he didn't pay for these seats, he needs to get the F out of here. Like, all of it. It was like crazy. And we're like, oh my gosh.
What?
So this is
everyone knows we didn't pay for these seats either.
Yeah. I mean, you guys invited us to sit here, and now you're like cussing this guy out. So the Charger fan guy acted like he was going to start fighting this Broncos fan.
We told him, hey, just get out of here, go back to your seat. Like,
sorry.
come on, and it's not worth it.
Shouldn't have invited you over here.
He got up, turned around, pointed at the guy's crotch, and was like, needle dick! And then as he walked up the stairs, he pointed at every guy's crotch and yelled, needle dick, needle dick, needle dick. And I guess that's just normal.
So that was another story that we edited out. Crazy stuff that actually happens. Alcohol brings out not the greatest in people sometimes. Anything else that we should talk about?
I think that's enough.
Thank you for stopping by.
It was great to see you.
Brisket
Broads.